Looking for a unique gift or just want to make someone's day? Head over to Cameo, where personal messages from your favorite creators are just a click away. Meet Chris Akin, one of the most captivating content creators on Cameo. Known for his wit, charm, and outlandish behavior at times, Chris is ready to make your special occasion even more memorable. Whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or just because, Chris delivers a message that feels like it's coming from a friend, an enemy, or someone in between. His energy, humor, and creativity make each video a one-of-a-kind experience. So don't wait. Visit www.cameo.com/Chris Akin and purchase your Cameo today from one of the best content creators on all of Cameo. Make someone's day special, or maybe even not so special, with a message they'll never forget.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin from Heavy Hitter, and you're watching CMS TV.
Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, it is about to get violent and heavy. A newer band, not brand new, but a newer band with a brand new release. The band is called Heavy Hitter. New album or new EP called Moments of Misery getting ready to come out. They're working on their Waste of Life single right now. It is brutal, folks. Don't mess around with this one. You are not going to be hearing ballads. What you will be hearing is the violence of this guy, the vocalist of the band himself, Mr. Austin Hayes. Austin, how are you, man?
Hey, how's it going, Chris? Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. It's great to talk to you, man. And I'm just going to tell you up front, I didn't know a lot about your band when your publicist hit me up. And those are usually the best kind because I discover a lot of good stuff that way. Man, you guys are brutally heavy. Holy smokes. I love it, man. Good stuff.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we start there, man? Because I'm in the business and I wasn't aware of your band. So I'll imagine people watching may not be aware of your band. So why don't we start there? Maybe give us a brief rundown of Heavy Hitter, the band, how you got together, how long, all that stuff.
Yeah, so Heavy Hitter started in the summer of 2017 in South Florida, kind of in the West Palm Beach area. I was actually just coming back from a hiatus of music. I was kind of out of music for 5 years, kind of did like the normal life, a manager at a Domino's, this, that, and that, a bunch of crazy jobs, college. Wasn't really feeling it by the time I was like 25, 26. So I started getting back in music. First band I started, when I got back in, it didn't really work out. But from that band, I met the guitarist of Heavy Hitter, Dane Loprich, and we just started the band with our old drummer from the previous band I was working in. And yeah, we practiced in a storage unit, probably no bigger than a closet. And we had to lie about it because the place we were at the time, not a whole lot of places were cool with having bands, playing in their storage units and stuff. So it was kind of scarce. So we had to lie. We only practiced on Sundays at 11. And it was like that for like 6 months, 7 months, until we found a space that was cool with everything. We could practice any time of the day, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever. It didn't matter. So, but yeah, that's how the band originally started, was right there.
Right on. Now, when you start a band like this, which is a very heavy band, I mean, it's labeled Deathcore. We'll get to that in a minute because I have a real problem with that label. But when you do something heavy like this, it's not going to be, there's not going to be the big radio hit or the big radio love or commercial love. How do you approach building a fan base and expanding the band in this kind of music? I mean, do you just hope for the right tours or the right person hears it and shares it? I mean, how do you build a band like this?
So it honestly was a big learning experience because you start from, what I was just telling you, from super grassroots level,
Sure.
local beatdown band, and then you kind of just progress as you go. I think how we built a lot of fans was through a lot of live shows in the very beginning, but then through the online promotion, I guess I kind of just looked at what other bands were doing at the time, bands like Singly Sugarbog, couple of the other ones. They use kind of comedy or relatable memes or stuff like that, anything, just kind of to bring their fans in from like a comedy standpoint. And then people are like, oh, this band actually rips. Whoa, I haven't even heard this band before. I think through the live shows, decent online promotion, it just gets around somehow, some way. I mean, the LCY videos, or the whole video, the second one we did for Paved in Blood, I mean, I think those are great media tools to use for promotion because it just looks good. And that's how we even got signed to Blue Grape Music, was an A&R at Blue Grape saw our video just going viral on Instagram or TikTok, wherever. And it was just like a 30-second clip. And he sent it to David, and I guess a couple other people from Blue Grape, a couple more people from there sent it to David. And that's how he said he found us, was from that video clip. And so I guess it's also what you said. You're kind of hoping that the right person sees it. Not everybody is into this style of music, like you mentioned. It's not big for radio play. I think you could still have hits within, heavy metal, hardcore, beatdown, deathcore, whatever, metalcore. But it's not definitely as predominant as like a radio rock band or anything. So I think you're just kind of just putting something out, making sure you're putting out something that you like and you put a lot of work into, and you have a good feeling about it. And once you feel good about it, you put it out, and then you kind of hope for the best. Yeah,
right on.
Definitely in this realm.
Right on, man. Well, we mentioned deathcore. I don't think you're a deathcore band. Personally, I just don't. I mean, deathcore, and I'll tell you probably the easiest reason, and there's many reasons, but the easiest reason is most deathcore bands write long songs. They write the 5 or 6 minute, with the breakdown in the middle and the drop in the middle. And you guys, I would say you're like if I was classifying you to somebody, I would say you're like a very extreme hardcore band almost, because you've got the hardcore, you've taken that 2 to 3 minute, 3 minutes seems to be about the max, where it's just get in, hammer somebody, get out. That seems to be your approach. Is that close? And B, do you like or dislike being categorized as deathcore?
So the first one, honestly, the EP that we just, the EP that's out and everything, that we didn't really plan on the songs being that short. It just kind of happened. It was like an ongoing theme. Okay. We write everything live together in a studio, or not in a studio, I'm sorry, in our practice space. So everything's live and written. Nothing's written on a DAW or a computer or anything like that. It's all 4 of us just bouncing ideas off of each other. And it just kind of happened that way. We realized halfway through writing the EP that, okay, maybe we need to make one at least a little bit longer than the other ones.
Right.
But yeah, that was we didn't even mean to do that theme on this current EP. But the second idea of being labeled deathcore, that just kind of happened as well. I think that just started coming out randomly online when we started going viral through All the Wax, and then I just played on it because it got us a lot of views. It started controversies, like even you said, like you don't think we're deathcore. People argue about that stuff online all the time, and then next thing you know, they're arguing about it in your comment section, and your video has 400,000 views or something like that. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on? So a lot of that is, we get called hardcore. We get called, someone's called a slam. Metalcore is a big one. Deathcore. So I kind of bounce between whatever. It doesn't really matter. I mean, a lot of people think we're beat down as well, or down tempo is what they would say. Never gotten death metal, so I haven't gotten death metal yet. I'm sure one day it'll happen, but yeah, no, it's a very broad mix between those three, and I feel like we mix all of those genres together a little bit. You know, you have a little bit of hardcore. There's maybe some deathcore elements in there as well, between the blast beats and some of the vocals. But I mean, I do enjoy a good two-step and a good breakdown. And I think with the recent material I've been writing, it is just like straight to the point, short and sweet. But I think people like that these days for some reason. I'm not sure why.
No, it's because people are tired of longer songs that are undisciplined. I say that about more like progressive bands or whatnot, but you get lost in it. You just get lost in it. It's like, you know, there's a reason, and I'm certainly not comparing you to this band, but there's a reason AC/DC has been around for 55 years, because it's in, out, you know what you're going to get, and it hits you hard. And that's
exactly.
That's what people like, you know.
I agree.
Nice. Well, dude, you mentioned that you guys write everything together, which I love that. How do you write though? Does it start from a riff? Does it start from a lyrical idea? I mean, where does a song start and how does it grow?
Pretty much everything, all the above. It could be either I had a lyrical idea and I like say I'm chilling at my house and Wall of Wax, for example, the one song we have, I had the rhythm pattern randomly came to me and I forgot what I was doing, something at my house, and I grabbed my phone and I recorded it. I didn't even have lyrics for it. I just did the pattern. And then I brought it to practice and I was like, I recorded this the other day and I think we could maybe use this. And then they heard the vocal pattern and they were like, oh, okay, I think I see what you mean. And then we wrote around that. Josh, our drummer, he does the same thing. He'll have a drum idea and then we'll build off that. Sometimes we'll just free jam if we're having a writer's block, and we'll just free jam for a little bit and see if we can randomly come up with something and have a cell phone recording at the time while we're doing it. It's pretty much like that. You know, it's just, I think that's like one of the more important parts to me is not having like, we have a formula. How do we write music? But it's not like a direct same formula every time. Like it can start from me, it can start from Dane, it can start from Chris, it can start from Josh. Like all of us have a hand in the writing process. And I've been in bands where there was like a sole writer, or there's only 2 guys or 3 guys and they wrote in a very distinct way. And I get that works for some bands, but I think since music is a form of art, you know, your success with it and how you handle it is subjective. There's no straight golden path. There's multiple ways to create that said art. And I think that's just how we found it with us. And I love it. I don't ever really want to change it. You know, I've had people ask us if we're ever going to change the writing process. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'd like to keep it like this until the end of time. So.
Right. Are there times when the music doesn't match the creative lyrical idea, or vice versa? So as an example, let's say you work something up off a riff and you come up and the band works something up off a riff, and then you listen to it and you can't find a cretive idea for it. Do you guys have those times, or do you just throw that away, or do you hold it, or what do you do with it?
No, we work on it. If I'm not feeling something that I think is good enough, or 2, what you just mentioned, I can't really build off of it and I'm not seeing where this is going, I might sit on it for a few days. I'll be like, all right, if they really like it, I'll sit on it for a few days and I'll see if I can come up with something in a couple of days. Sometimes more than half the time I can. And I'm like, okay, this will work. Or we'll reach a compromise and we'll change it to where everybody's happy. I think we don't ever put songs on like hold or anything. I think when you start a song, you know, if you need to keep working on that song until you're happy with it, till you're good. I know some people will write a bunch of songs and they'll write, you know, they'll have like a big file of songs that they have, and they'll be like, okay, all these songs, okay, I only like 5 of these songs out of like these 10 or these 20. And then they'll just put those other ones on the back burner. They might use them one day, they might pick them apart, you know, stuff like that. I don't really enjoy doing that. I think once we start a song, I want to finish it and I want it to be when it's done, I want it to be as good as I want it to be. I don't want to just throw it away and start on something new. I like focusing on one song at a time, and then that's how we progress. But no, we butt heads a lot on creative differences. Don't get me wrong. There'll be things where someone really loves something, and I'm just like, I'm not hearing it, man. And then we'll work through it. It's all professional. It's business wise, so everybody understands that. It's not personal, strictly business. We're just trying to make something good here.
Right. Now, I got to ask, though, when you compromise, and it is specifically to you as the singer, how long does it take before you get comfortable with it? Because, we've all seen shows where it's clear the singer doesn't like the song, but he did the song. Okay. How long does it take for you before you get comfortable with it? Because you got to be believable out in front of the people more than anybody else in the band.
It definitely is going to take a couple practices at least. You know what I mean? I think, it's a lot of that stuff too will happen potentially when we're in the studio too. You know what I mean? Like, when like the current EP we just did, we were recording everything together. Like everybody was in the room when I was doing vocals, and I would do something, and then I would ask them how they feel about it. And there's some things that I didn't personally like, but everybody else agreed upon. And I'm not going to go against anybody. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And, I came to there's a lot of parts in that EP where I wasn't like, yeah, about it. But now after playing it across the United States with Carnifex in them and fucking, I'm sorry, and all that stuff, I'm comfortable with pretty much everything. But it did take a little bit to really get that that big feel of like I'm in the pocket, I'm in the zone with this song. I'm 100% on everything for all of the parts live. You know what I mean? Definitely takes a little bit.
Right on. Now, one thing, Austin, that I hear that probably the best feature or one of the best features about your music is the sound. My God, It's gigantic, and especially in headphones, it's just booming.
Dude,
did you guys do it yourself, or did you bring in a producer and a mixer? I mean, how did you capture such a huge sound?
No, that's all Austin Coop, all the production, everything. Like he's a great producer. He played in bands like Prison, Adalia. He writes music for Psycho Frame. He writes music for Mood Ring. He writes for a lot of bands. I know currently he's doing like a Papa Roach album right now. I'm almost positive. So he used to live in Florida. He's like a Florida guy like us, and he came from the local Florida scene as well. He got out of doing the band stuff, the touring band stuff, and he just started doing a producer full time. He moved from Lakeland to Los Angeles last year, and he's been there ever since. And he's just thriving out there. He's a great guy. He feels like he's in your band when you're recording with him. He helps us out too with polishing everything, the sound, all that jazz, tones. We did live drums for the EP as well. I always do live drums. I don't want to do program drums for this band. Right. But no, he's great. He really helps because we write everything live in our practice space. I get everything midied out. I'll get a MIDI drum for him, so he has the tempos and everything like that from a local guy over here named Mike Young. And then I'll send him the MIDIs. He'll have it all. I'll send him the cell phone videos of the full songs with vocals, everything, of us playing it live. And then when we get there, we just start cooking. That's pretty much it. We got to go back in April this year, or 2025. Yeah.
Cool. Does the music itself or pieces of it change by having Austin in the studio with you? Like, does he make suggestions that you guys just plain out don't see, or does he just work well with you? Is I guess what I'm asking.
He works well with us. I mean, he obviously has some suggestions that not all of us are feeling, but he does do a lot of suggestions that we are feeling, and that's why I continuously want to keep going back to him for these next few cycles with the label. And he's really good, and he understands. He's a younger guy, and he's probably about 29, 30 at this point now, but he's tapped in with what's popular right now in the newer bands and like what's trending and what's good. And he just sounds so good with his tones and everything, man. I really couldn't imagine going anyone else at this time. Yeah, no, I think he's just in, like I said, I think he's in touch with everything. Um, the suggestions he makes for some of the songs is incredible. And and what's cool is he's not sitting there writing a whole new part. He's taking something that we already wrote and then he's building on it and making it even better. And it's like, holy shit, it's like some of the things he's like created, you're like, I didn't even know the potential was there for that part, but thank you. So he's a really good guy. Yeah. Awesome.
Right on. Definitely. Well, Austin, obviously, man, whenever you put out music, the goal is to get it on the road. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the bread and butter. So what are you guys' touring plans for? I'd imagine probably 2025, unless you have plans for the next week or two.
No, we got no more shows the rest of this year. We just got off we were gone for 43 days on the road with Carnifex, Cryptopsy, Mental Cruelty, and this band from New Zealand, Organectomy. And that was great. We had a really, really good time doing the tour. We went all through Canada, all through America and back. But now our next tour is with 156 Silence and Victims, and that's a full U.S. tour. It starts in Detroit on, I believe, January 14th or the 15th. I could be mistaken, but we'll be gone for a month on that one. So it's from January until the middle of February or early February, and then we'll be back. And we have some more tours in the works. We have a European tour that we're trying to get worked out right now. I think that will be really, really cool. Some more stuff in the fall, and I think I don't think we have anything for the spring. I think we have to go back to Los Angeles in the spring to do EP number 2 for the label. So that's pretty much what we got planned for 2025 as of right now. Hopefully some festivals in between there.
Sure. Now, I always make this argument, and I could be wrong as a non-musician making it, but I always feel like, I feel like here in 2024, and I'm an older guy, so I'm saying this as an old guy, I don't feel like the old bands do enough for the new bands. I just don't. 30 years ago, the old bands took out the new bands who became what are now the old bands.
Yeah.
They really did that. And I don't see that a lot now. I mean, there's the occasional Max Cavalera that does promote a lot of newer bands or whatever. But for the most part, the old bands to me do not do enough. They just look to partner with guys they know and they're comfortable with to go out on tour. Do you think that? And B, do you think that hurts the whole scene because the scene gets smaller and smaller because we don't grow it?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of that in the current touring industry. I think there is a lot of the same bands just working with each other on different tours and just playing musical chairs at that point that are more at the tippy top than like a mid-grade. I don't think when I say that, there is a lot of older bands that I see that do bring people out on tour, and Carnifex being one of those bands. They brought out us on that current tour we just did with them, and they were great. Let us hang out with them, shared their green room, made sure we were good every night. They're great guys. I know they've taken out Left to Suffer a few years ago when they were a newer band coming out the gate. They've taken out Lorna Shore when Lorna Shore was a very teeny tiny band back in the day, several times. I think on like 4 or 5 different tours, they took Lorna Shore out. So there are those bands out there that don't forget where they came from, and they realize that every headliner at one point was a local band.
Right.
And that's exactly where it's like every band that's big now at one point was doing the same shit as their current local band members, and they are going to go through the same shit that the bigger bands went through. And I think I think if more newer bands did get put on bigger tours, it would be better for the scene. I think there needs to definitely be a shift in that. I think personally, and this is my personal take on it.
Sure.
I don't think that a lot of the older bands have been keeping up with who is popular now, or that they've realized how much the industry has changed from coming up from a local band from grassroots level to where you're at now. you can kind of skyrocket it a little bit easier these days because of the power of TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. The internet in general is just so much more powerful. Back in the day, even like 20 years ago in 2008, or almost 20 years ago, but you know what I mean, 10, 15 years ago, you could be playing multiple shows, and there's going to be some A&R from a label in the crowd, and he discovers you that way. That doesn't really happen anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. And the opportunities for a lot of these bands to be at are a lot easier to get to because of TikTok, because of Instagram, because of those things. My friend Kyle from Body Snatcher, he's a great example of when we were talking last year, when Heavy Hitter was at like 40,000 monthly listeners or 45,000 monthly listeners. He was like, damn, dude. He's like, when we started being a band in 2016, 2017, or it took us a few years to even get to that point. And he was like, and when we got to that point, it was like incredible. He's like, you guys kind of did that in just a couple of months, because of TikTok, because of Instagram, because of just this new promotion that's available that you barely even have to pay for. You don't have to pay for anything. You can just create stupid content. The next thing you know, you have 300 people listening right now on your Spotify. So I don't think I don't think a lot of bands know this, and I even talked to Carnifex about this on that tour, and some of the other bands as well. Not a lot of people in the older brackets are just aware of what's happened, that these newer bands are coming out the gate, and that there's going to be a new wave, and it's coming in the 2020s now, of this new wave. You had a wave in 20 teens, with like Knock Loose, Kubla Khan, Spite, Body Snatcher, Lorna Shore, even Lorna Shore. You know what I mean? It's going to happen again. The industry is always changing, and I think I definitely want to keep up with it as I age. As the band gets older and everything, I don't ever want to be out of touch with what is popular now, what's happening. I want to definitely keep up to terms with it all, because I think that's how you can keep your band continuously popular and continuously trending in some way. But yeah, that's my personal take on it.
Right on, man. Well, if people want to keep up with what's happening today, they need to get your new EP, Moments of Misery, on Blue Grape. Certainly they can hear Waste of Life, which is the single. Where should we tell people to go to actually buy something, man? I don't even like promoting the stupid Spotify or whatever. Where can they go to buy a shirt, buy a CD, whatever, buy whatever helps you guys?
No, buy a shirt, man. You can go to our heavyhitter.bigcartel.com. You can buy shirts there. We have multiple shirts on pre-orders. We got some on hand that are available, just limited sizes. Our label also has a long sleeve you can buy off their website at bluegrapemusic.com, and you just go to their merch spot and it'll be right there. But yeah, those two websites, go buy something and it'll help us out a lot. Definitely supports the shit out of us.
That's right. Or just go buy it at a show. That's the best.
Go buy it or come to a show, pay for a ticket and buy a shirt.
Yeah.
And that's even better. I might even just sign it for you. Good.
and don't email ahead of time saying, "Could you put me on the list?"
Yes, do not do that.
Very good. Well, one more time, the band is Heavy Hitter. The EP is Moments of Misery. And Austin, thanks so much for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Hey, thank you, Chris.
Are you craving the latest scoop on the P. Diddy case? Look no further. DiddyTales.com is your one-stop shop for all the juicy details, updates, and exclusive insights you won't find anywhere else. From shocking revelations to the inside stories of your favorite celebrities, DiddyTales.com has it all. Stay ahead of the curve with daily updates that keep you in the know. Don't miss out on the drama, the truth, and all the best celebrity news. Make DiddyTales.com your daily destination for entertainment news that matters. Visit www.diddytales.com daily
for all the details about the P. Diddy case and all the best celebrity news.